Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This video is going to be my Shop My Stash for the month of September. I'm going to be reflecting on my Shop My Stash for August and I'm going to show you which products I'm going to pick out for the coming month. So let's get right into this video. So if you haven't been on my channel before, my name is Marley and I love making YouTube videos about makeup and beauty. I love trying out new makeup, I love trying out new things, but I also really love using my collection, using the things that I already own. This is one of the ways that I do that, by doing a Shop My Stash. So if that sounds good to you, then don't forget to subscribe. I usually upload about 2 to 3 videos a week and I would love to see you again on my channel. Let's start with the lip products. First up, I chose out this Tuscan Sunshine Lip Stylo in the shade 01. It's a beautiful mauve toned glowy lipstick. I use this quite a bit, used it a few times. Really love it. It's so smooth, hydrating, shiny. It does stay on quite long. It has a little bit of a soapy scent almost. I never really realized that, but it has a bit of an interesting smell to it. I don't really mind it. It doesn't really bother me, but it's not like really nice vanilla scented or anything. I don't really get why this is smelling like this. It's not like it's gone bad. It's a pretty new lipstick, but this is just a little bit of a floral scent that leans kind of soapy, like a floral hand soap, I would say almost. But this is just a really beautiful formula, beautiful color by Kiko. Just really liked wearing this one. Next up, I chose this lipstick by H&M in Strawberry Mochi. It's a matte lipstick. Used it, I believe, once or twice. It's a beautiful shade. It's like a strawberry nude. If a strawberry color was a nude lipstick, it would be this. I love this shade. I feel like it really brightens up a look without being too bright or crazy or too deep. It's just a nude, but a little bit more special. I really love this shade. It's a little bit of a tuggy matte. I don't find this to be the most comfortable matte formula, but I still really like it and it's definitely worth it for this particular shade. Then the lip that I'm wearing today that I've used quite a few times is this Oden's Eye Creamy Lip Stain in Little Jasmin. This is such a beautiful lip product. The scent is beautiful, the finish and the color, it's all beautiful. It's a product that I feel like I've gotten to know better. I know better how I like to use this. I used to pack this on pretty like thick to really get the most shine, and because it was easier to spread out that way. But if you just dip in once into this product, I feel like it lasts longer and it doesn't go everywhere. It doesn't bleed. It's just easier to wear in the end. It's just a little bit harder to apply if you just dip once. But I do feel like I kind of find out how I like to wear it, and that's why I wore it quite a few times. It's a really, really beautiful product. And this one, this Plumping Gel Lipstick in 150, I kind of lost this. Sometimes I put a lipstick somewhere because I want to use it and then I kind of forget that I put it there and kind of forget that it was in my Shop My Stash. So I didn't end up using this one. It's a red sheer shiny lipstick. I forgot about this one. I didn't wear it. This ended up in my purse. I think I wanted to put it on after I went somewhere by train. I didn't want to put it on before having to put on my mask and then smearing it everywhere. But then I forgot about it and it was just in my bag. So that happens sometimes. Next up, I chose 3 highlighters. The one that I used quite a bit is this Kiko Milano Unexpected Paradise Highlighter Light of Venus. It's quite a light champagne tone. It's a neutral shade. I just used it a lot for my inner corners. I really like it for that. It's a really beautiful inner corner highlight. I used it today in my inner corners. Really beautiful. But I also use it on my face a few times. It's a beautiful baked product. It's just a little bit of a boring shade, I feel sometimes. a really just straight up champagne. It's not something that I really get excited about. I like champagnes that have a little bit of a pinky peachy undertone, so I don't usually reach for this one a lot, but I did quite like it in this rotation. I did use it quite a lot. Next up, I chose this Maybelline New York Chrome highlight in the shade Knockout. I used this I think once or twice as a blush topper, and I can't seem to open this one. Come on. Alright, so this one I used a few times as a blush topper. I really like it. It's a beautiful pink to gold duochrome. It's not too shiny, not too shimmery, so that's why I also like it as a blush topper. And it has a bit of a darker base to it, so I just really feel like it works well like that. Then I also put in this H&M highlighter in the shade Sunbeam, and this is kind of like a peachy gold to a pink highlighter. It's not too deep for me to use as a highlighter, but I also sometimes use it kind of like a blush topper. Really love the shade. I also use this in my inner corners, also just use it on my face. I feel like I wore this a couple of times. Of all these highlighters, I went for that Kiko one the most, I feel. But to be honest with you, I have the Nabla Skin Glazing highlighter in Privilege in my project pan right now, and that's basically what I use like 70% of the time. I'm really into that one, really into using that one a lot. So that's what I've been wearing most days in the end. Now let's move on to the blushes. First up, this liquid blush by Kiko from the Fruit Explosion line. This one is in 03. It's also kind of like a strawberry shade. It looks quite like something that would go together with that H&M lipstick. Beautiful shade, beautiful warm tone. Loved wearing this one. A really beautiful serumy blush that is easy to work with, easy to blend out. If you've been on my channel for a little bit longer, then you might know that this is really a favorite of mine, and I just wanted to use that one again. Then this Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush by Catrice. Used this quite a few times. This is also such a favorite of mine. I love this one. It looks kind of creamy on the cheeks, and it has a beautiful glow, beautiful color, beautiful golden glow. It's a perfect summery blush, I feel. It just makes you look so healthy and glowy. This one is great. I feel like this is really a hidden gem at the drugstore. This easily compares to high-end. This formula feels high-end, and it's like drugstore packaging, but it's still pretty good, pretty sturdy. I don't mind this packaging. I'm sorry about the yelling children. I don't know if you could hear that. They're yelling outside my window. But okay, I already knew that I loved it. I just wanted to use it a little bit more. Then I also put in the Mood Boost 3-in-1 All Over Stick in the shade 04 from Kiko, of course. And so I had to stop for a little bit because they were yelling so loud, and now they're still kind of yelling, but I feel like it's a bit softer. Maybe they're gonna leave, I hope so. So I was talking about the Mood Boost 3-in-1 All Over Stick, and there is a plain. So this one I was actually really impressed with when I wore it. Of course, I had already reviewed it, I'd already tried it, but when I wore it this time, I just thought it looked so good. It looked so nice and creamy, and it just gave this beautiful creamy effect to the cheeks. I knew I liked it, but I was even more impressed. And also this one time when I wore this one, I first tried another liquid blush. That didn't really work out, and this made it so easy to kind of blend that other one in to kind of fix everything and make it all look good. This is really an effortless cream product, so good. Lastly, I got this Kiko Milano. This is the Glam Cushion Highlighter in the shade 02. I wore this once. I applied a little bit too much, but I do really like the effect of this one. I just have to remember that it can sometimes look a bit lighter when you apply it because of the glow, but then in other light it can still look pretty dark. So I kind of went a little bit too far with this one, applied a little bit too much because I squeezed out too much. It wasn't a perfect look, I thought, but it's still a beautiful product, really great. Then next up, let's move on to the bronzer that I chose. This is Juvia's Place Bronzed Light Duo. I really loved using this one actually. I went into this one the most, and I told you in the review when I reviewed this that I thought that these were a little bit light, on the light side. But when I really go into this lighter one, this deeper one quite a lot, I can really make this work and it looks really good. I liked using this one, used it quite a few times, even though I was focusing a bit more on my Project Pan bronzer, but still really enjoyed this one. I think I used it like 4 or 5 times, something like that. I thought it was pretty good. Then on to the eyeshadow palettes. This is the Oden's Norns eyeshadow palette. Let me see how I can best show this to you. So this is the Oden's Norns eyeshadow palette. I use this for 2 looks. I did one where I used this purple to green duochrome and this teal in the crease. And I also did one where I had a little bit more of a neutral crease. I used this one and then I used this green shimmer on top. This green shimmer is so good. If you love greens that are a little bit more on the mossy, warm green side, this is such a good shade. I really love the looks that I did with this one. Really impressed with this palette. This is one of my true favorites, so nothing new there. Then I also put in the Colourpop Going Coconuts. I used this quite a few times. It's a really easy palette to use. I didn't take pictures of all the looks that I did with this, because this is also one that I used when I went somewhere. When I went like out for the day or went to do some things for the day, I reached for this one. So I believe I have one picture, but I use it a bit more than that. I love this shade called Shell, yeah. It's so good. I love it so much. This one, the Cocoa Crush one, is beautiful. The one in the middle, it is a bit crumbly though. I feel like I have to be a bit careful with this palette, but it's such a good palette and I really enjoyed using this one. This is the perfect go-to neutral palette. It's so easy to use, so easy to do looks with this one. I was really happy to have this one in. Then the Blueberry Muffin palette by BH Cosmetics. I actually had planned to do a blue look with this one, but in the end I did more of a neutral, kind of berry leaning look with this one. I used a shade called Fluffy. I used a shade called 350 Degrees. I used a shade called Yummy. And it became a little bit of a grungy neutral look that I really liked, really fall appropriate. I just didn't go for the blues. I don't know why. I just felt more like going into the neutrals. And I always feel like these neutrals quite surprised me because they are more plum than I would expect seeing them in the pan. So it became quite a grungy, plummy look. And I do think that fits the theme of this palette really well. It's just not really what I expect when I look at it. And the last palette I chose was the Blushed Rose eyeshadow palette. Honestly, I don't remember at this moment what kind of look I did with this. I feel like I did something with this pink, this shimmer and this one. I feel like I did quite a pinky look. I know for sure that I used this palette. Why don't I remember what the look was like? Let me check. Alright. I remember. It was quite a bright pinky look with a little bit of depth there. I used this shade. Just kind of like a bright rosy look. I quite like the look. I do feel like I'm moving away a little bit from the bright rosy, bright pinky rosy looks when it comes to my taste. I feel like I'm a bit less into that than I was like 1 year or 2 years ago, but I still really love this palette and those kinds of looks. I just don't feel like it's my go-to look anymore, so that's why I only did one look with this one and so many looks with the Going Coconuts. I feel like that's more like a go-to palette for me right now and for my makeup taste right now. So that was everything for the Shop My Stash from last month. Now let's go and pick out some products for September. Alright, so let's choose the makeup for September and let's start with the lip products. First up, I'm gonna put in this Clean ID lipstick from Catrice. This is an ultra high shine lipstick and this is kind of like a darker nude shade. Really beautiful for fall, I think. Then I'm also gonna put in this Nabla Dreamy Creamy liquid lipstick in the shade Hedonist. This is kind of like a creamy nude lipstick, quite a neutral neutral shade, a little bit like a brownie, a little bit of a brown peachy nude. Then I'm also gonna put in this Sephora liquid lipstick. This one is in the shade 39 and this is a really beautiful cool toned brown that I think is such a beautiful shade for fall. I'm kind of thinking what I want to do. I haven't really used a Colourpop satin lip for a while. While I do really love them, but I don't really know what I should go with. This is a little bit of a deeper nude with a rosy undertone. This one is a little bit deeper than that one, but they're pretty similar actually. They are not that far apart. These are pretty much dupes, I feel. I think I'm gonna go with Frick and Frack. I do feel like all my shades that I chose out now are a little bit similar, but I also don't want to overwhelm myself by choosing too many lip products. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick to what I chose for now. There are just some other shades that are more for spring and summer, I feel, and some shades that I'd rather wear when it's a little bit like colder out. Now I'm still a little bit feeling the late summer vibes. Now let's move on to the highlighters. I first want to choose this one again. This one I choose so much, but I just love it. This is the Ocean Feel highlighter in Virtuous Golden Rose by Kiko. I'm also gonna put in this Kiko highlighter in 02 Coral Sunset, a beautiful warm toned highlighter. Want to use this one again. Then I'm also gonna put in this Colourpop here Kitty Kitty highlighter as kind of like a more neutral shade that can go with any look. And I think that's gonna be it for the highlighters, maybe. You know what, I'm gonna put this one in as well. This Glow Glow Go Essence Instant Highlighter Dewy Finish in Seconds. I want to use this one again. Then let's move on to the blushes. This blush basket is really overflowing and this is not even everything. I've been really into blush. These two I recently reviewed. I'm not gonna put them in now, I think. I do like to pick some things that I haven't really used in a while, but I don't know. This is a really nice fall color, I think, as well. This is the Colourpop Super Shock in foil, and I think this is such a beautiful color. This is the Honest Beauty cream blush that I really love. Actually, I'm really into this one. That's a spoiler for my new makeup ranking that is coming up. Let me think what I want to do. I'm gonna put in one of my favorite blushes. This is the Oden's Eye blush. This is a flower blusher in the shade Water Lily. Such a beautiful shade. I think this will be really fall appropriate, but it's still like pretty sunny and bronzy as well. Then I also want to put in this Kiko baked blush from the Lost in Amalfi collection. This one is in the shade Silky Sand. It looks pretty nude, but it's quite peachy on my cheeks. I think I'm also gonna go with my Nabla Skin Glazing blush. This one is in the shade Independence. This one I don't use a lot. This particular shade is one that I find a little bit hard to wear, but I want to try it again because my tastes for blushes have really changed, so maybe I like it more than I remember. Then I'm also gonna put in this Fruit Explosion liquid blush by Kiko in 02. This is a mauve shade, and I think that's gonna be everything for the blushes. But I feel like I might reach back into this drawer, even though I shop my stash for these two, but I feel like I might get a little bit overwhelmed if I put those in as well. And I just used them quite a lot to review them, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. Then let's move on to the eyeshadow palettes. So I want to do things that are a little bit fall appropriate, but I don't want it to be too much in that direction because I'm not feeling those colors just yet. First up, I'm gonna put in the Oden's Eye Saga of Freya eyeshadow palette. There are some beautiful warm neutral and cool neutral shades in here. This is the warm side. This is the cool side. I really love the shades in here. I really want to use this again. Then I'm gonna put in the Nabla Cutie palette in Analog. I'm just really into the neutrals right now, and this has some pretty beautiful warm and cool neutrals. Of course, I'm gonna put in my single palette, my palette of singles that I did in a video recently. I arranged this to kind of look like fall appropriate releases that have been coming out. So I'm gonna put this one in. You know what? I think I'm gonna put in the Colourpop It's My Pleasure. This is not one that I use a lot. It's a bit berry for my liking, but maybe this is a good moment to use this one again. I don't really feel like grabbing for really bright shades right now, so that might be something to do this rotation. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the Fame palette by Colourpop as well. I know that it isn't a really colorful rotation, and usually I do like 50-50 colors and neutrals, but I'm feeling the neutrals. I'm not really feeling the bright colors right now, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. Then I have some warm neutrals, some cool neutrals, some more taupey neutrals, and then I have a purple palette that I can use for a bit more colorful looks. I'm just a little bit in between right now. I don't really feel like doing fall looks yet because it's so warm right now, but probably in a month I will be ready for that, and then I think I will have a more clear vision of the colors that I want to use. Now I just don't really know, so I'm just gonna stick to the neutrals and I'm just gonna leave the colors for what they are for right now. We also have to pick out something for bronzer, of course. And I was thinking about choosing this Catrice Bronzer Way palette. This also has some beautiful highlighters. I really like this lighter bronzer that is in here, so I think I'm gonna pick this one. But I'm also thinking about, I think I want to put this one in as well. The Nabla Skin Glazing Bronzer in the shade Ambra. This is a beautiful formula. I want to use this one again. I think that's going to be everything for bronzer. I don't want to get too overwhelmed with the bronzers. So this is my Shop My Stash basket for September. These are all the things. I feel like it's quite a lot, but I'm pretty excited to use this makeup again. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!